Hello, good morning.
Morning. How are you doing?
I'm great. Now, that sounds amazing. How's everything going?
Going well, man.
That's
Going
great.
well.
How was your weekend?
It was not too bad. Got some work done. Had some nice weather. Now we're in. We got about a week of rain scheduled. It says so.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate, but I guess the plants need it, so it'll be good for them.
Exactly. That's great. That's great. So tell me, what would you like to know about in today's session?
I don't know what we got left. What do we have? We're on
the 5 steps,
Yep.
and we have been able to cover the who. We've also been able to cover the how. Yes, the how.
Okay. The how.
And then we also need to talk about the when.
Cool.
So
I'm down with that. That's fine.
You're down with that?
That works.
Awesome. So I think going into today's topic about the when, it's a great discussion because we get to see things from a different perspective, unlike things that we see on social media or your plan stuff. So the when is how good are you to put this out there for yourself, and when you go out there, when is the best time to set foot? Because if you set foot like now, you're in a rainy situation. So let's say you want to set foot outside, you get muddy, So you got to know when the best time to implement your project is. You can't be putting hoodies out when the sun is out.
Yeah.
So did you know about this fun fact that 53% of businesses depend on content marketing as a branding strategy?
No, but that makes sense.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I mean, because content's key. I mean, it's what we're giving out, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, if we're not putting something out that's going to be beneficial to people, they're less likely to stay. They're less likely to interact. So yeah, 53% is a big number for branding strategy goes, because there's so much else that goes with it. And so, yeah, content is king, and what we're putting out there is what people are wanting, and is what's going to keep them around and keep coming back if it's beneficial to them. So
yeah, consistency is key. So like you said, content is king, consistency is queen. It's like you have that paradise, that whole demeanor where you can be able to put two things together and still make absolute sense of it. So with Pencil Leadership, how does this apply to your business?
Yeah, I mean, majority of what I do is content. So podcast, social media, newsletter, that's huge, because I want to give back. I want to give out and help people. And so that's the majority of what I try to do. And then eventually, as people want coaching, that'll be part of it, or more part of it as well, as that grows. But yeah, right now, contents, man, we got to show what we know, and people don't know what they don't know. And so you're trying to give out and educate. And so yeah, with Pencil Leadership, just creating more and try to increase the quality each day of what we're putting out. And
how do you
working on a couple of ebooks right now, just for another option for people to get digging into.
Okay. So are the ebooks more like worksheets, or more like informative, like just data that you want to send as a message to them that is in form of a medium?
Yeah. So it's more education. So the first one's going to be, what is a pencil leader, or something along that line, when the title gets solidified. So basically explaining what pencil leadership means, and what it means to be a pencil leader. And so that's the first one. The second one's going to be on somewhere, and it hasn't had a title nailed down yet, but along the lines of finding your self-worth or finding your passion or direction. So that could have maybe a couple worksheets for people to use to help them narrow down or dial in on what they're passionate about.
Okay.
Maybe what their purpose could be, whether that be, man, I really love gardening. I really love gardening. I really love homestead stuff. Maybe so they don't have a direction or realize that might be their passion and how they can really make an impact on the world. And so it's going to bring them down a road to try to narrow that down and kind of dial in on what they're good at, what they really enjoy doing, and the impact they could have.
Okay. So I'm thinking, you said gardening, right?
Yeah.
So how do you implement gardening on your social media strategy as a tool to communicate your message through branding using this strategy?
Yeah, so if someone, and I have a friend who I've actually been talking about this with, and that's why it came to mind first. So his knowledge on homesteading, on gardening is phenomenal, but he's not utilizing it to the level I think he could. So we're discussing like a strategy on how he can start implementing social media pages to get information out to help people, because there's people out there who want to learn what he has. And so putting that into place on, okay, talk about different livestock that you have, explain what their traits are, explain how to take care of them, explain how to garden, and then slowly work your way into like speaking at 4-H clubs or things of that nature. And so, yeah, just seeing the benefit and knowing that there are people that do that and are looking to learn about that. And it's just giving value to those people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't Google stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got a more specific niche from his heritage, the country they come from. And so even targeting it even more specifically into that type of homesteading. And so,
wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. That really sets a tone for what the business is without even selling a product, because you're giving them information that they probably never heard before, like I am hearing now. And it motivates me, it captivates me to learn more, which triggers an emotion. And then that triggers a wallet, so that's the turnover that 53% of the businesses use as a way of telling you that, hey, this is our story. This is our lifestyle. This is what we stand for. And then this is what we deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Nike does that. Apple does that.
Yep.
Xbox does that.
Yep.
It's a very big society where we see that on LinkedIn. If you go right now, you can see Forbes quote of the day, but they didn't sell you no magazine. They didn't sell you anything. But they gave you something to think about that will make you want to understand why they're talking about it in the first place. Then you learn to see their core values, their mission, their vision, their objectives, their team, their mission statements running across different platforms. How does it engage with other people? How do you cross brand? How do you implement this service? How do you give back? What are the tools to stop? And then when, which is the topic we're on right now, when to do this kind of stuff. Like, think about in gardening now. If he talks about how to, like, within the rainy season, how to take care of the crops and weed things out and be very, very, specific on knowing that in 3 months or 6 months, I'm going to yield something percent, so it's like, you got to think about all those things and know when to place your audience in the know-how rather than just telling them because you know how. Right.
Yeah. And I think it's a mix of both too. I think telling them because but also correlating it to like the season, theoretical seasons, depending on what the business is. But you can make it relative for sure.
Definitely. I think 53% is a big number, especially when you pass the 50% mark. Anything. So, going to that, we have a quote of the day, which is, "You too are a brand, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not." Mark Echo said that.
I love it. Yeah. And it's what I always say is, no matter our level, no matter where we are position wise or stage in life, people are always watching. Someone's always watching what you're doing. what you're saying, how you're acting, and that's a brand. I mean, and so you're branding yourself to those people. So those people know you as XYZ, whatever that is, whatever you're putting out there. And so if you're on social media and you don't have a business, you don't have anything like that, what is your message? Are you negative all the time on social media? Are you, and I have people like this, are you trashing just everything, the government, whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter, but are you always negative towards something? Are you always stirring up controversy? Are you always just talking about conspiracies, whatever it is? So people see that. So when they think of you, they think, oh, John over there, all he does is negative stuff. Or is it the opposite? Oh, he's so positive. He just puts out so much positive stuff. It's so awesome. So you're branding yourself, so people are going to remember that when they think of you based on what you're putting out.
That's mind-blowing. Just think about how many Facebook posts are out there based on knowledge that probably they just want to put up because that's what they're thinking. Because Facebook says what's on your mind, and literally what's on your mind comes out. And sometimes they don't match. Sometimes they do, but if you really know what you want to communicate, you can get your audience right there and then. But the problem is when to do it, what time to do it, how to even talk to them at that time. What are you telling them at that time that they need to hear, if they're even hearing in the first place or listening? So it's like if you stand up in front of somebody right now and you talk to them, do they have tunnel vision on you, or do they have squeaky networks running between the ears? You can't do that to the point where you feel like this is all I have to do, this is all I have to be, and you now do that, and then you stop the process because now somebody does not trust you because you did ABC, and you could have avoided that, but you tried to prove a point which didn't make it didn't make it home. So you now lost the brand, you lost the reputation, lost the business, and you definitely lost the finance. So it's like, you got to understand, how do you tell people about stuff without having to sell it to them, because people don't like being sold to.
Right. And I think that's just creating value. I think it's just showing that you come from a position, then you have value to give them. But and I just saw it today, and I can't remember who said it now, but you just have to love people. They don't care what you know until they know that you care. And so you just got to put the value out there. You've got to connect, and you've got to show, at least from my perspective, you just have to show people you care and that you want the best for them. And I think in the long run, that's going to play out the best for people.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when people know about the know-how, what they do with their time, and how they imply that to the universe, they can put out more love that they can get back that they didn't expect.
Yeah.
Because somebody somewhere online is thinking the same way you are. We're all human. So there's definitely a need. Everybody has a need. It's pretty much inevitable. So you have to know how to meet that need without having to be forceful. And the brand that you represent tells people who you are, and that gives you that impression. Let's say you go to Kroger. And you have 3 different types of tomato paste. And the 3 different type of tomato paste brands that that you've probably seen on the internet, probably on Twitter, probably on Facebook, probably on YouTube as an ad. Anything could have popped up to bring your attention to that, or you may have never seen it. And you quickly make a decision within 7 seconds and say, this is what I want to pick, and keep moving, because you can't be looking tomato paste all day long. So you got to pick what you know. And when you pick the one that you actually know, you're picking it because you trust it, because you know this is what is needed for me. And the other brand may equally do the same thing, but you don't know, and you don't have that time to find out. So,
it's all, I mean, it all comes back to like what we plan in our subconscious. Like, we hear it over and over. That's why it's so important to sow that positivity in our minds, because then we come back to being positive. If we're always taking in the negative from the news or social media, then that's what's going to come in our mind, and that's what we're going to see. That's why positive affirmations about ourselves are so important. That's why all that, and so branding, marketing, everything plays into that. We subconsciously take in, we might not stare at the ad that we see scrolling, but our subconscious takes it in. And so when we're shopping, it's like, oh, wait. And we might not remember seeing the ad, but it's ingrained in here. We saw it. It's in our subconscious. And so that's what makes us more likely to pick it. And that's why, like, it's so important, and marketing and everything of that nature is so big. But on top of that, too, you have word of mouth marketing. And so people talk about it, and you might not remember that conversation, or you might overheard it. And so that's going to hold more weight because you heard someone talking positively about it,
right?
Over an ad. And so, yeah, word of mouth marketing is huge.
If you think about word of mouth marketing, the first thing that just came to my mind when you said that was Popeyes and Chick-fil-A.
Yep. That whole sandwich. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy because, I mean, you're a lot more likely to go see, for example, a movie based on somebody's verbal opinion of it. Dude, this movie's awesome. You got to go see it. And you could look online and the ad could maybe not catch your attention that much for whatever reason, or the ratings that you see online might not be as high as you usually think they should be for a movie you go and watch. But as soon as someone that you know says, dude, that movie was awesome, you would love that movie, you got to see that movie, you're not going to care what else you saw. You're going to go see it because you that weighs more in your mind and in your opinion than seeing some ad or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you see an ad and the ad does not catch your attention, you ignore it. Sometimes I even hide ads and I'm like, it's not relevant, too consistent. I don't need this.
And that's why pictures, that's why videos on social media get more attention than pictures. Because you hear the talking, the verbal message over just reading something.
So you think if you do all those three in one post, it's going to capture the most attention, which is in audio format, in video format, and in visual format in form of text?
Yeah, because I think now a lot of people are turning to videos with captions, just because some people are in a place where they can't have the sound on. So you're still getting the movement, you're still getting the action from it, but you're getting the words that you can read along with it. So it's almost like you're ingraining more in your mind because you're seeing the people mouth the words and you're reading the words they're saying. And so it's like double penetration into your subconscious almost.
Quick question.
Yeah.
When you watch Netflix, do you keep your captions on or off?
When I watch anything, I don't have captions on now.
Okay. Why I'm asking is because on Instagram, Facebook, they have that and people like to see them. And on Netflix, some people like to see them, but people just want to watch a movie, period. You know?
Yeah. So right.
How do you balance that?
I think it comes down to just situation. I think a lot of times social media, people are doing it like at work or times where they can't have sound on. So I think they like that just because they can still get the content without bothering people with sound or getting caught that they're on social media if they're not supposed to be at the time. And so, yeah, I think that's a big reason with that. And then if you're sitting down and watch something on Netflix, at least from my perspective, like you're actually sitting down to watch whatever it is. So the captions aren't as necessary, in my opinion. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, some of it, sometimes when I watch, I see the caption, I'm like, oh, that's what he actually said. Because sometimes you hear
sometimes you can't understand it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And then if they change the language sometimes. But I think the whole connection of what we're talking about just makes branding what it is. Like, what I'm saying to you is what you're reading on a transcribed text format, is what you're seeing on my lips, is what you're feeling through what I'm saying. And at the same time, it's sending a message, which is the most important thing. If I'm talking right now and you don't understand me, then I shouldn't be talking.
Right. No, I think you're spot on.
I think we're both spot on. So when you think about when to brand, you got to think about four things. You got to think about surveys. You got to think about focus groups. You think about giveaways, and you think about charity. Those four pillars are always going to be necessary for your next project, your next big thing. I don't know how to explain this further.
I mean, the first two kind of show the weight of it. They're other people's opinions. They're the people you're trying to reach, the opinions of those people. And so you're listening to your audience. You're listening to the people out there, what they want to see or what they think, to be able to tweak and to be able to really reach them where they're at. So I think it's huge to brand in that way. And in giveaways, it just kind of gets people excited, gets people connected to more of what you're doing. And you reap what you sow. And so if you're having giveaways, if you're giving back, charity the same way. I'm actually looking into getting partnered with Make-A-Wish Foundation with Pencil Leadership. So I'm kind of going through that.
Sorry.
Yeah. So just looking into more of the logistics of it, because obviously I'm not a big corporate sponsor, but be able to just have a fundraiser through Pencil Leadership that people can donate to help children's the Make-A-Wish. And so these are different individuals, children with different illnesses or impairments, and the foundation comes along and helps them kind of get their dream, their goal, wish. And it could be meeting an athlete, meeting a movie star, going and being a part of some television show or something of like that. And so these really big wishes that the kids have, the money just helps kind of set those up and supports that.
That's amazing. I love that. While you were even talking about that, I was even going to ask you, just off the record, I was just going to say, have you thought about using a form of donation at one particular time of the year, maybe when there's back to school in the fall, and you're now giving the foundation like pencils? Just
I haven't thought of that far, about as far as giving them pencils or anything. I think it's a great idea, some sort of marketing, but still giving back, maybe of something tangible that they could actually use. But yeah, always looking to try to figure out, like, I in the future down the road, I would love to have a branch of Pencil Leadership that's non-for-profit, that's some sort of like organization for kids, helping them become better leaders as well, things of that nature. So I think it'd be cool to be able to do that in the future when I'm able to extend myself in that way. Yeah.
Okay. I was literally just saying, let me just throw it out to you, because I would do it. You know, like the way I think about pencils, and I think about back when I was in school, I had the whole eraser, you know, you use pencils to draw, you use pencils to start writing your ABCs. So
right.
You mess up, you scribble it, come back again. And pencils always finish. But if you have like a whole pack of pencils, you know how many things you can do with them? Like, you can sharpen this one, you can use one for this shading. So I was just thinking in the line of, how do people use and express their art without having to be, you know, for it to be too expensive? That's really
right.
How do you implement talent without having to monetize and greatly, you know, commercialize it? You can really give it a very, very small, soft touch, and then see what it happens. And then those drawings could, you know, turn into anything. So,
that's right.
You know, they could put that on their galleries in the foundation, or in, you know, maybe like a wall of art, and say, oh, these are the bright stars. These are the people that are, you know, focused on art. And then, you know, they probably get a career in architecture. You know, it could be anything possible.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know what could come from that.
Right. You've just given someone a pencil.
Yeah, exactly. Or even a word, even a positive word. You don't know who's going to run with that, and it could change their life. So letting that positivity come through you, and you don't know how it could change people's lives, which is awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. And when you want to brand, you know, in line with what we just talked about, surveys are great, because you get to see what they're thinking about and get to know what they're thinking about without asking them directly. And the way you phrase the questions also matter. You don't want to be like, why are you not buying this? You know, like you don't want to be hard on them. You just want to be in that two-way conversational type of format, so that if I know that you don't like it and 58% of the people just don't like this brand, it is obvious. Just don't do it. But at the same time, you also got to think about, is it necessary for my brand? Is it even working in the first place? Is it profitable? Is it rewarding? Is it satisfying? If it's none of the above, it's not necessary. So you skip on to the next part. Have a focus group. You can have LinkedIn groups. You can have Twitter lists. You can have Instagram groups. You can have Facebook groups are like the biggest ones right now. You know, you can easily go into that market, figure out what you want to do. You can be able to have discussion panels on YouTube. You can go on Yelp. You can go on TripAdvisor. You can literally find out information about specific things to your brand that you didn't know about because somebody tried it one day and this is how they felt. And then two other people tried it and you were like, oh, wow, they're getting sued. You know, it could be anything that happens, but you got to be careful about your brand. You know, wherever you are representing the country, you got to think about the culture. You got to think about the routine. You got to think about the customs, the laws. Those things are not bypassers. Those things are not, you know, optional. You got to know them, because knowing them helps you get a better result and gives you a better edge, and of course a more competitive advantage than, you know, your inferior or your contemporary. You know?
You gotta understand the audience you're going to. You gotta understand the point of views and everything like that. Yeah, definitely, you got to take those in consideration.
Exactly. Giveaways too is a great thing, because like giveaways, speaking of giveaways, I'm sure somebody would be a winner by now, because I plan on actually giving somebody a giveaway based on this podcast today. And I've been giving away Chick-fil-A meals and, you know, little treats. And I've been able to do that consistently. And we had a winner just on Friday. His name is Bizzle B on Instagram. And it was funny how that question was answered, because only 2 people got it right. Everybody else had, you know.
Nice.
So I was like, this is amazing how we can be able to interact on social media without having to tell them everything. So giveaways keeps people coming back. I remember when I was in my master's program, when I did entertainment business at Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida, in Winter Park, we used to have giveaways, the point where it's like when you get a drone, it's like you just got a Christmas present. You know, people had so many gifts because of giveaways. They probably won a raffle. They probably won something. It was their lucky day. You know, they probably have been waiting for this their whole life. You don't know what that one product, one giveaway, maybe I didn't have food today. Maybe this is what I can eat. You don't know the story. You don't need to know the story either. You just need to do your part and just let your message send its message.
Absolutely. No, I can't agree more on that.
Charity, another one. Big one actually, because if you can be able to work with foundations, work with institutions, work with agencies, you know, work with churches, have that effect on people's minds and hearts that they think about you, means the world, because any financial gain is no gain if somebody was not satisfied or happy about something. You know, because you can have all that money and you can be paying all those money with bills. You can also not have the money and have benefits to enjoy. So you got to think about the giveaways, the charities. What are you focusing on? Who is talking to you? Who are you talking to? What are they hearing? Are you sending the same message every time? Are you giving them two, you know, little messages? You don't know what they're talking about, and then you're talking about something else, and then you guys clash, and then nobody wins. It's a whole scuffle. So when to brand is very important, and when you use all these points, you will know exactly what to do. Like, we can't tell you when. We can't tell you, oh, go January 5th. It's not, we don't know. So you have to be the one to figure that out yourself. All we're doing is just giving you guys the tea.
Yep, absolutely. You got to put in the work. You got to figure out where people are at, find their pain points, find when it works, and go for it.
Exactly. And when you brand, you build an interest. What to display and when to display has a journey of self-discovery. And I'm just going to run this down quickly before we even go deeper into it. There's a mission, there's a vision, there are objectives, there's a mantra, there's a team, there's planning. When you look at all these points, Chris, what do you think about each and every of these pillars?
Well, there's always a lot going into your brand and what you're going for. And so that's the biggest one, is your mission, your why. Why are you doing this? Like, you got to have a reason. It can't just be to make money, because you could do that in a day job. And so if you have something bigger than yourself, like Pencil Leadership, my mission is to impact 1 million lives in a positive way through coaching, podcasts, speaking, books, whatever it is. And so, and the vision has to be there. I mean, you have to see it. You have to see it happening. You have to keep that in your mind, because it's going to be hard. You're going to have to keep yourself motivated to go forward, but have smaller goals that you can reach along the way. So if it is a business that you're gaining clients, getting your first client, getting your first 5 clients, getting your, donating your first $1,000, donating your first 5,000, things like that, then you can celebrate, like, holy cow, yes, like, this is awesome, like, things like that. And then having a mantra, like striving to help people build a life they love, is one of mine. And then of course you're going to build a team as you go. Now there's timing with that too. You can't get too wide first before your foundation's ready. And so kind of managing that and knowing when the right time to add people on your team is. And then the planning, you have to have an outline, a plan of your direction. You have that ultimate goal, but the plan can change along the way, and it can just ebb and flow. And so, there's always planning that goes into it, but you can't over plan. You sometimes just have to take action. And so knowing the difference and the right time to do that as well.
Yeah. And I think when you have a team, all these objectives become easier.
Yeah, delegation, man. That's the best thing. Like when Pencil Leadership gets to that point, like, I'm excited to bring people in. One, because then I get to support them financially, somewhat, depending on part-time, full-time, and then but we're also, it's like a team. So I playing sports growing up, like, I love team sports. I love that, and that's what I look at it as. Like, we're gonna find the pieces that fit our team, and together we're gonna be able to do so much more than I could do on my own. And so that's why I'm excited when we get to that point to branch into team things. So it brings another level to it. It makes it a little bit harder, because now you have to think about other people more within your organization, their needs, their opinions, their thoughts, and work together. So it brings a little bit more intricacy to it, but excitement as well.
Yeah, I think so too. That's where you actually enjoy working, because when you can pay somebody and you can see that money or that transfer affected something, it started something, it gives that person motivation to do something that you didn't even expect. Because when you motivate them financially, it's like a mental dopamine that just happens instantaneously, and then all of a sudden you start seeing people working within the same mantra, because there's a goal. And
but they got to be on the same vision page too. If they don't see the vision, if they're not in tune with that, it's going to make it a lot harder, because if they're in it just for the money, I mean, they could always go find somewhere else that's going to pay them. And so if they're in tune with the mission, the vision, it's going to make things flow a lot better, because they're going to be on board. And so giving them what needs to be done and seeing how they do it, seeing where their creativity and where their energy flows, instead of giving them a specific guideline, giving them a little bit room to flourish.
I think so, because when you think about it, I'm really trying to understand what would be the difference. Let's say 2 people at a workplace, one of them is enjoying it because of the money, the other one is enjoying it because of the passion, but they both have the same project to deliver. Are you going to tell the difference in the two when you see? Can you detect that as a manager, as a board of director?
I mean, it depends on the person, but if they're just going after the money, sometimes they're just going to do how much they're worth. So they're just going to put how much they're worth.
I like that.
But if you have someone who sees the vision who sees, man, we're going to impact 1 million lives, and this part kind of gets us, is the next step, they're going to put everything they can to make it the best and above and beyond, because they want to get to that $1 million or that million lives impacted. And so they're going to put a little more elbow grease into it, because they have something else drawing them forward than just money. The person who's just for money is like, okay, I'm making 15 an hour. Okay, I put my 5 hours, my 8 hours in. Okay, we're good. I got it done. It's done. 8 hours are done. So I think there would be, it depends on the person, obviously, but I think you would see a difference.
I would say yes to that, because the difference is so clear that when you see, oh, this person is and it happened to me just this weekend. That's why I'm even asking this question.
Yeah.
I gave a project out to 2 different people. I said, hey, we need this sample flyer to be done. We have an ad, but it is not paid right now. We just need to get the information on screen and see how it works. And then we can start to talk about business. One of them was like, okay, no questions asked. I'll do it. And I'm going to get it done. I got 2 versions. Great versions. I don't even know which one is better. The second person said, I need more information. I gave them more information. I sent the website and everything. And then all of a sudden, I got it late. I got it this morning instead of yesterday. The other one sent it by Saturday and it's due on Sunday. So I got it and it was a wrong copy. And I was like, I just sent you. Then he sent another one. There was a typo on it. I was like, okay, I think I now see where the passion is, because it's a sample flyer, because it's not paid, because it's not a gig. Then I'm just going to get whatever I'm going to get. And it's like, if my vision is bigger than this picture, then I wouldn't deliver the message, because I won't get the contract, because I won't get their vision, you know, like maybe I got it all wrong, or maybe I'm the one that's missing the point. But with what I've seen, it kind of tells me that there are people that are passionate about something, and people who want to do something because of the money, or they want to do it because they like you.
Right. No, I agree. It's like, are you going to stay up till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. to make sure you got that just right to put out, that podcast episode to put out, or that content for tomorrow? Or are you going to hurry and just get it done so you're done with it and not really care the level? You know, it's the same kind of thing. So what are you going to put into it?
Right. There's so much impact in understanding what you're doing, when you're doing it, why you're doing it, and who you're doing it for. Because the person that's watching this does not know who you are. When you watch an ad, you don't know who was on the production team. When you watch a movie, you don't know who was reading the script. You don't know who are the writers until you read the credits. And that's like way in the end, like that's after you've seen it, which means you had to see it. But if you didn't see that person's progress, or that person's passion, that person's resilience, that person's agility, you will not be able to get to that credit section, because you messed up in the beginning. There was no baseline for the story. You probably gave it a 5 out of 10 on the IMDb. You know, you don't know what happened, because it just resulted into a clash that you formed in your head that translated into everybody's head. So if you flew with the same message, if you gave the same Lion King experience, then you are definitely in for great returns, because you know that people want to feel something. They want to have an emotion.
Yeah, absolutely. Emotion drives. And so you have to get in tune with people's emotions and what touches them. And some people might not correlate with your message, even if you are having a good message, good content, good emotion connection. It's just not for them, and that's fine, because there's like 8 billion people in the world. So it's going to connect with somebody. It's not going to connect with everybody. Not everyone's going to like Pencil Leadership's message, and that's okay, because there are some that it will, and there'll be enough that we can help. And so
exactly. If you even get 1% of 8 billion, you're okay. You are perfectly comfortable.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think that point of self-discovery is very important. and you have to be very knowledgeable about when to display all this information to the right people, to the right audience, for the right thing, for the right reason.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree. It's all about the who, what, when, where. So
exactly. And now that we're even talking about the who, what, and where, the who, what, when, where, and how. I think that's 4 W's and 1 H, I believe.
I think so.
Or 5. So all these topics that we've just talked about are also available on the online course available. You can check the link in the description to, get access to it. And also, if you want to be a partner, contact us. The link is in the bio as well in the description. There's so much we can be able to learn together, because this first course, it's almost been a month, and I have so many courses I have lined up. Like, I play the drums. I know how to do artist management. Yep. I know how to, how to start a podcast, how to build an online course. Things that are sounding easy, but those things help you in the long run, because they get you tickets, they get you gigs, they get you recognition. Something along the way puts a word in someone's mouth to, bring the next thing to life. So if you're down, I'm down. This is something I'm doing. And I think this quarantine season has really opened my mind to being explorer, grateful, and just mind blown on how I can be able to do things from my house without having to go outside and do the same thing by going through 25 minutes of traffic.
Right. Yeah, times are changing.
If you think about, I just talked about traffic, and the first thing that came to my mind was the Elon Musk plan for the underground train stations and all those things going on. Think about 2030. How will we be driving? How would you be getting your license?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
It is crazy to think about where we could be in 10 years. Absolutely.
Because this was not 2010 was not like this. We didn't have
technology is gonna really change the game with a lot of things.
And
good and bad. So
good and bad, that's for sure. But I think even with podcasting, 10 years from now, this thing is gonna be like a throwback. Right?
It's gonna be crazy. Got it, and that's why you guys keep fresh, keep evergreen, and keep moving forward.
Exactly. So definitely, please get on this particular wave. Don't stop. Come on board, enroll in the class. Get, very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very particular in what you want to do, and you got to
get invested.
Right. Get invested. That's the word I was looking for. Get invested. It's like you start something, you build something, it gets here. Yep. And all of a sudden, boom, you have a whole situation going on.
Yep. Awesome.
I'm excited. What was the best thing about this particular topic that really caught your attention to you?
I think it's just finding your message. I think, and kind of just taking that first step into, hey, this is what I enjoy or what I'm good at or how I can give back. Okay. I need to do something. And so I think that's so cool. I love talking to people about like their dreams and goals and like seeing it at like infancy or even before, and like talking to them through what it could be, getting them excited, because seeing what it could turn into. I love doing that. So
yeah, definitely. I just think that that's the right way to go, and it's going to help a lot of people, and let's see where it takes us.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So thank you so much again. I'm looking forward to the next one, and let people know about this, and let's keep the word going.